gets quiet.
Yeah, nobody says anything about that.
Big brother.
Hot mic.
Oh, where is mine? No.
All quiet.
On the western front.
Well, the mic setups to everything.
It's 6:30. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Invite you all to stand as we pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to thank you all for attending. There's a sign-in sheet if you haven't signed in. Appreciate your name on that. Our first order of business is approval of the minutes from the January 21 Select Board meeting and the January 28 Special Select Board meeting. I'll entertain a motion to accept. Let's do them one at a time. January 21, 2026 meeting.
So moved.
So Tim has made the motion. Ariana the second. Any changes?
I have none.
All right.
So while I wasn't here for that meeting, I did catch a couple of typos. Sorry. There's just one, I don't know. On page 5, line 45, there's 2 periods after repaired. First word. I thought there was another one, but I can't find it. So that was it. Minor, not a big deal. Any other comments? All in favor of the minutes, would signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Next is the January 28, 2026 special select board meeting. I have a motion to approve these.
Moved.
Barney's made the motion. A second.
Second.
Ariana's a second. Any changes, modifications, comment? All in favor of the January 28, 2026 minutes as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Excellent, thank you. At this point, open up the meeting for any citizens who'd like to speak about something that is not on the agenda. All right, thank you. Next is old business. Julie, you want to take us through that?
Sure, a couple quick things. Wanted to let everybody know, so CEDC, Chester Economic Development Committee, had its first meeting last week. Very good meeting. It's going to be a really dynamic group of people. So Preston and I are both very excited. I've been waiting a long time for this, so it's going to be good. Housing Commission, just wanted to let you know at town meeting, the Housing Commission is planning to do a presentation under the local options tax vote. They will kind of take that on and lead the discussion about what they're planning to do, why they feel it's important. So as long as there's no objections to that, that is their plan. Trustee of Public Funds met this week. They did approve the town's request of $12,000 for blower system for the cemetery. Just to let you know that. Again, good meeting. Those funds are sitting at a little over $900,000. That also includes our Cypress Minerals funds. So we'll be having discussions as we talked about this year. Before we draw those funds and invest in our own, you guys had wanted to have some discussions around what we would be using those funds for. So that'll be on some upcoming agendas before we draw. But those funds are sitting a little over 900. The wayfinding grant, the one that put in the new signs in town, we ended the grant. We had underspent it by about 40,000. Went to just close it out. The signs just came in less than what we had initially thought they would. The Downtown Transportation Fund people came back to me and said, these are the last rounds of downtown transportation grants where village centers will be allowed to apply. There were special exemptions made for village centers. We're not an official downtown for a village center. So their comment to me was, you could amend your scope of work a little bit, still needs to be in the signage realm, but they were really encouraging to find a way to spend those funds. Yep.
And that more entrance signs?
Yes, so to continue, that's okay. I'm working with, I've talked to Patrick, SE Group is who designed the wayfinding signs to begin with. So have retained them again, since the entrance signs will need to blend, at least with the wayfinding signs we have in the village. There are a couple of individuals in town who have a passion about these signs, so they're going to be joining in my discussion to work on some designs. So anticipate that there will probably be some designs coming to you sometime, hopefully in the next couple months. We have to move quickly because I only have an extension till the end of 26. So we'll need to move fast. $40,000 is not going to pay for the design plus 5 entrance signs. But it will pay for the design and, maybe 2 or 3. So it's a place for us to start. So just to let you know about that.
So those are going 103 north and south, 11 east and west, and Grafton.
Correct. Yep, those are the 5 entries. Yep.
Sorry for my enthusiasm, but I'm very.
Yeah, absolutely. No worries at all. No worries at all. The grant applications, I just kind of put a little memo in your, or little note in your memo, just to kind of let you guys know, I have kind of frozen, the process of applying for too many more grants, for 2026. Number one, we just need to make sure we know exactly where finances are, and we're not going to know that, probably till May. Most of these grants require matches. Those that don't and are for a specific project, like the bridge stuff and some of that stuff, and obviously we'll continue with those. The other thing is, in retrospect, we have a lot of very large projects taking place in this town between 26 and 27. So I think at this point we have reached capacity as far as being able to actually manage those projects. So we're just going to do a little bit of a reset, get through some of our projects. Again, if something pops up that is like, oh, we should really do this, I will bring it to you. But right at the moment, I'm not out there actively seeking more things to do. So everybody knows.
I don't think I've ever heard you say that.
I already have a list in my brain for
You have a
26.
beaver?
I know, the list is big. On that note, reminder, we are hiring a finance director. I have not received any applications at this point. So there are many, many, many towns in the state of Vermont that are seeking the same position. So I'm going to give it a little bit longer, but I am kind of starting to think a little bit about what would be plan B. And I talked to a few people, plan B, so I'll put it out there in case anybody knows anybody, would be a really strong bookkeeper / accountant. So not accountant, CPA accountant, but accountant more than a bookkeeper type of person. And then contract maybe 15 hours a week for an upper level CPA, CFO level type of person that can then review and do the analysis in actual final piece. So we may split it that way, which there's benefits to that as well. You've got multiple sets of eyes. So there's lots of benefits. So we may go that way, but I've reached out to some accountants that we know in town, and people that I know that are in the finance world, to just kind of say, look, this is what we're looking for. If you know anybody that has any level or any interest or any, please just send them our way. So get that out there, advertise it, and hopefully we can get somebody.
So you're going to re-advertise it with the other qualifications?
Yeah, I was going to give it another week or two just to see. And then, yes, yeah.
It's a tough time because
It's a
it's
tough
tax time and everybody, no accountant of mine can do anything else right now.
Well, and the other piece too is the way we've advertised this for somebody with experience in government finance. Government finance is very different than regular corporate accounting. They're very different principles and laws that you follow. And it's not necessarily always an easy transfer from one to the other. However, one of the comments that was made to me this week is, if you had somebody that had interest in time and just was really good with the accounting piece, and had an interest to learn the government finance, we may not find that person that already has that experience. But if you've got that upper level of a finance director type person that does have it, then you've got some checks and balances there, right? And there's time for that person to learn it. So we have some things we may need to play with a little bit. And it may be a matter of the right person. The right person could make the shift. We've had some in the past who have easily made that change from corporate accounting to government, and we've had some that have not, that just can't shift. It's very different. So that's where we're at with that. If anybody knows anybody, please send them our way. And then I just wanted to give a quick update on salt, road salt. So there's a whole thing with road salt going on in the country. What is affecting us the most is the partial collapse of a salt mine in New York has dramatically limited the amount of salt that Vermont is getting. At this point, Kirby is not concerned, but we are, in some storms coming up that we may get. He is changing a little bit the way that he is going to be treating the roads. So the main roads will be salted. Back roads, obviously dirt roads are sanded, but even the back paved roads, so the side roads that are paved will be sanded instead of salted. That'll help us preserve a little bit until we can scrounge some more for our coffers. We are not in as bad of a position as some other municipalities are, but we're using ours sparingly, so they'll be used for the main roads. As we start to learn about more opportunities for salt, we will obviously take advantage of that. The other thing is if we have asked and inquired about going to some outside companies for salt versus where we have our current contract. And of course, their price per salt is $30 a ton. There's also an advantage being taken of the current situation. So we are going to avoid that as much as we can, and we'll keep you posted. But people can just anticipate the way the roads are going to be treated right now is going to be a little bit different than what we're used to.
There'll be some PR outreach, I assume, around that.
We put a bunch of stuff out on Facebook. Perhaps maybe the Chester Telegraph could put it in their memo or note. But we have, and yeah, we've been advertising that. Yeah, that's it for me.
Excellent. Any other old business? Next is our class 4 road policy. Julie, you want to bring us up to speed? I know you've had some discussions.
Yep. I finally was able to have some conversations with Jim. He was in about 5 weeks. He was on vacation and then has been very sick for about 3 weeks. Him and I finally were able to connect the end of last week. Jim does have some concerns about the policy as drafted and feels strongly, and I tend to agree with him, that they need to align with the town road and bridge standards. When you pull out those road and bridge standards, there is some overlap there in conversation about class 4 roads. Jim's suggestion was that the two documents be married into one, so that the town road and bridge standards maybe becomes town highway policy, or maybe that's changed. And then there is a section within that deals specifically with class 4 roads. So the work that the CCC has done, in drafting that policy, kind of bringing them both together under one document. So Jim suggested I bring that to you guys, see how you feel about it. If you are in agreement and want to move in that direction, Jim and I can work together to kind of meld them together, bring it back to you. So that's where we're at with it at the moment.
I was just going to ask for input from the board.
Well, I'm curious about the road and bridge standards,
Mhm.
what they are and stuff. It would be good to helpful to have that document.
Yep.
See what we are thinking about marriaging.
Sure.
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure if that's in my, whether that is a good way to go or not a good way to go, or how it affects it and stuff, or what's happening with it, because I'm familiar with that document a little bit,
Yeah.
because basically it's for the construction and the maintenance of most of the roads and bridges and the procedures that are used for it. I'd be curious to see how to make, marriage
Sure.
together or whatever it is.
I've seen it. I think it's a great idea. There's no question. And I think it married together very well. And the thing is, what I would think about it a little more is I would make a little bigger effort to define what trails are. What legal trails are, although we don't have any. If coming in the future, we have some, that should also be well documented in there as well.
And those road and bridge standards are 2019.
Yeah.
They're due to be looked at. So either way, we need to look at those again. They're years old at this.
It certainly seems logical to not have multiple free-floating policies, but to have one place where everything about our road maintenance, public works are all doing all the stuff. It feels like adding class 4 at the end of that and trails would make sense, because that is everything from the biggest road and bridge to class 4 and trails in one place.
It's public right of way,
Oh, there you go.
right?
And we can rename it, so it's not town road and bridge standards. Highway policies, town rights of way policy, or however we want to say it. So it's all encompassing.
Would that mean also that, since we've been concentrating on class 4 roads, do we have to look at the class 3, class 2, and all the ones? Anything that has to change? Because now you're making a whole new document, and you're going to have one part of it that's revised and we thought about, but all the other ones are just, there is no other policy.
You're gonna have, a lot of the class 1, 2, and 3 is established by V-Trans standards. So it's not as involved of a conversation. We just need to make sure that those are updated and compliant with the current V-Trans. So we'll look at those. If you decide to go.
I think it was with that sooner than that, because when we married them with development review standard, that was 2019, that long ago. God, I'm older, I haven't figured it out yet.
I told Jim on the phone, I said, oh, we did this just a couple of years ago.
I was thinking the same thing. We just talked.
2019.
So
Tim-
does the bridges and road standards include class 3, 2, and 1 as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Jim, you've been wanting to speak for like 5 minutes, so.
Thanks for reading my body language. So this does seem logical to me. My concern is that we've been talking about this for almost a year now. And we really doesn't feel like we've made much progress. And it feels like this is going to extend the time before we actually adopt anything policy covering our class 4 roads. Is Jim waiting for you to get back to him with what the board would like to do, and then will he draft something for us? That's
And I will work together to marry them. Yeah, probably he will draft it.
and then that would come back to the board, and we would discuss it and edit or adopt or whatever.
And Jim's other comment that I think I put in your memo was, given the interest around class 4 roads right now in town, at varying levels, that, this is a policy that emphasized to me many times. You want to make sure that you have exactly right, and the way you want it, just because there is pending litigation and this, you adopt a policy that is not, or that leaves gaps that can be used against you. So, we want to be careful that everything is tightened up, as well. So he is just emphasizing to also take your time and make sure that it's a policy that is all buttoned up, which he will help you do.
We've taken a lot of time.
I know.
Well,
And he apologizes. It's been on his lap for a couple of months.
Right, and that's where I was going with this. Is it something he's prepared to jump on when he hears back from us?
Because it's lawyer time.
This is lawyer time, not our time.
I know, everything's relative.
But it's kind of equal to government time. I mean, it's just merging icebergs, But yes, because I have let him know that, like, it's been a long time. He understands it's been a long time as well. There's been a few things that have been a long time on his desk. Great, understood.
Well, I guess I don't have any objection to taking that route. I would just like to get it moving.
I'll send a copy.
If you can send it to all of us.
Yeah.
Ariana, do you have something else you wanted to say? Anything else on this particular topic? Sorry, yeah, let's go ahead, Evan.
So is the town gonna hold off on making any decisions on these matters until we have a policy in place?
Well, that's next topic of discussion. Yeah. Are you talking about the discontinuance or the legal issues we're having, or what's your question?
Well, I mean, it's just like we're making a policy for something that, we're fixed to take action on. I'm just wondering if we're gonna wait for the policy before the town can.
That's the recommendation of the lawyer, town lawyer. Because otherwise, if we don't do that, if there are things that we're not considering when we're making these decisions, we could box ourselves in a corner that we don't want to be in. So as Tim was pointing out, while this has taken a long time, in my opinion, that's a feature, not a bug, because then we are able to carefully consider everything that needs to be considered in these policies and make sure that we're not skipping over something or getting to a point where we say, oh, nuts, we didn't think of this and we should have. And so from my perspective, I think that's the prudent thing to do, because if we get into a situation where somebody is not, or the policy is not clear and somebody sues the town again, that's going to cost us a lot more money than a few more months to figure it out.
I don't disagree with that. It just feels like it hasn't moved at any pace, really. So, and I think, and I like Jim. I know he's busy, he's been sick, whatever. I think we need him to commit and take action.
Oh, absolutely. And we will put the thumb screws on the town manager in order to get there.
Yeah.
See how that works.
Right,
Well, you have to think about it. To try to move Bailey Hill along, I drove to Middlebury. Right? And in theory, I mean, you're gonna get down here a little farther in the agenda and you're gonna find out he thinks it's settled, but it's like,
Well, that whole project, 2 years before we finally got towards the end of it. And even then, we didn't quite finish it, but it was 2 years of research and work and documentation and all kinds of things. Because it is such a big move to do that, to discontinue the road. Claim that it's not legitimate or it is legitimate or whatever. I think having all that information, the historical information of the road, the layout, the location, and all those things are pretty important when you come to making a decision about discontinuance.
I understand that these are big decisions and they impact people's lives, and we're trying not to drag it out forever. But on the other hand, I think it's prudent of us to be careful and make sure that we're doing it.
Well, we want to get it right. I'm
Right.
not arguing that at all.
Yeah, it impacts people's lives, but it also impacts all the town citizens also, in a big way also. I mean, everyone involved in the town.
Right.
Anything else on
Nope.
Class 4 roads? Okay, next is a discussion regarding the request for discontinuance of Adams Road. So we had a request from Damon Tyler a while back. He should have gotten a reminder about the email that he sent. And at this point, it's opportunity for us to discuss this. And this is not a hearing, so we're not making any decisions, but we're thinking about how are we as the board going to handle this particular request. So I'm opening up if you guys have any thoughts on this that you wanted to.
I'm assuming there's a procedure. We've officially received a request.
Right. But it's not the Class 4 road policy that we've been working on is what was laying out that procedure. And now we have an opinion from an attorney that says, hold on a second, let's see if we can marry these two documents together. And that would give us more clarity on how to proceed with this.
So in the absence of the existence of a policy, just transactionally, what is the procedure as written?
So what you would do, this is your meeting to
Yeah.
discuss, to decide if you are going to set this for a hearing or not.
So
The
the,
board can decide whether or not it is going to take up the request to discontinue a road. If
There
it
we go.
is, then you are going to establish a hearing. That is the purpose of this.
so the question is, do we have a hearing to address this request? That's the question on the table today. Do we move forward to say there will be a hearing?
Basically, yes. And at what timeline do you want to do that? Or not do that, if that's entirely. Jim's recommendation is that you just pause until the policy is in place.
And that would be my recommendation as well, because for reasons that were stated earlier, I think it's prudent for us to not rush into this, notwithstanding there are people in the audience who would like to see this move forward.
And another impetus on Jim to say, okay, get this done.
Acknowledging my lame duck status, I can ask one question. Would it be fair or appropriate to say that we have, on the record, we have received the request is in order. Once we have the policy in place, that request will go into whatever system and protocol is in the policy.
I believe that's true.
Well, I was under the
I mean, it's not a
impression,
commitment to anything, but other than to acknowledge the residents who brought the request forward,
Right.
that yes, there is a process. We will begin the process. The first step is here, and then you are in line, queued up to be the recipient of this process that we have yet to create.
Right.
But I just feel like we need to acknowledge the fact that we have received an official
Correct.
request.
That is
Yes.
why this is on.
And I want to, and it will be
yes.
treated respectfully. We are not delaying. It is a matter of doing it in the right order.
That is why this
I
is on
think
the
it's what I'm
agenda. This
encouraging
is your
us to-
acknowledgement. Yeah, this is your
Yes.
acknowledgement that you have received an official request.
And the process, I think, for the discontinuance hearing would be the same. It would be the board would vote whether we wanted to have that hearing.
Right.
Yeah, and that, I agree, that should come after the policy is defined and adopted.
Any other comments?
Well, I'd agree with that, but I'd also like to say that I did used to have a hayfield on South Hill that turned out to be on an ATV trail, of which no one respected when I was haying it all. You know, the ATVs through the windrollers are really annoying, and I totally understand your perspective in this matter.
Do we have room for public comment?
Absolutely, yes. Come on up, or you don't have to come up. Just identify yourself.
Damon Tyler. As you know, as the policy is written, I'm not very happy with it, especially the first section. I mean, you can read in my letter. The first section was verbatim taken from the forestry department's policy, which I don't think should be adopted by Chester Town. What the Parks and Recreation for the state want to do doesn't necessarily align with the town. I have tried to do this the right way of bringing it to the board. I will be more than greatly dissatisfied if you guys punt this and choose not to take it up. There is statute on how to deal with discontinuance. I'd like to move forward with that process. Others have taken other methods to move their concerns forward. I'd hate to go down that route. I'm trying to do the right thing. I think I've stated a lot of valid reasons why a discontinuance on our particular part of the road is valid and somewhat of an easy layout. And so if the board will not entertain a discontinuance for that section of the road, then I don't see it likely that they'll do it for any section. I have a problem with the statute of the right-of-way and how it was established. And again, this does not go into any other town. It has no other neighbors. It's surrounded by just the farmland. As you know, the farmland has an active mine, which is federally regulated. We have working farm equipment, and it goes right by the house and around the barns. And, again, I'd be very disappointed if you all decided to not move forward with, picking this up. And again, you all said a policy was just guidelines. And, you know, if you look at the policy for the Department of Parks and Recreation, it's just a policy. Policies seem to have they seem to have weight. And so again, I'm not happy with the policy as written. I would like you to entertain, and I am very much asking for you to entertain moving forward with the discontinuance. Yours to decide.
So I'm going to ask him a couple of questions.
Yes, please do.
Susan. So a couple of questions. One is, you mentioned that there's a section of the road that you want to discontinued, and yet your email says the entirety of the town
Did you
54.
read, I named it based on the map that was provided that had the different name sections. And I actually said, obviously it's not Adams Road. I think on your map it was section 84, if I'm correct. 54. But it is the section that goes from the farmhouse front around our garage and barns, through our gardens, across the beet pens, alongside the mine, and then it varies. There's a separate road that's not that road, that's to the left, and then there's one that no longer exists that goes directly through the woods. And if you look at that as it goes through the backwoods, it actually goes through a neighbor's house. So I don't know if I need to get in touch with that person, but if I were them, I'd be really concerned with your policy and how it handles this right of way as it goes through their house. Again, this is not something that should be turned into a trail, unless you all would like a trail to go through your backyard. Did you have more questions? It's just that section I'm worried about.
Okay, yeah, I'm just reading your email again, and it just says, this is continuance of road number 54.
Yeah, so it's
So-
on your map that
Okay,
was provided.
and again, I haven't dug into this because this isn't something that we've spent a lot of time on at this point. The other question I had was relative to the timing of this. Is there a specific time frame that this needs to be done in order to make sure that you can do something with your property, or is this just, we want to get this discontinued and the sooner the better?
We want to get it discontinued, the sooner the better. The road is being maintained by the folks that work the open mine. Again, I like equal rights and obligations. It seems like the way the law is written, or the way this land was acquired by Chester, when these rights of ways were formed, I think frankly what the Department of Agriculture wants to do with them. Like they wrote their policy based on the fact that there's a lot of class 4 roads in state parks and going into state parks. I don't think they took the use case of Adams Farm and the risks and obligations. Like you said, having 4-wheel drive vehicles in your hayfield. Again, my goal is to protect the family farm from risks and obligations. And I take offense when it seems as though the town wants to have all of the rights and privileges, but none of the obligation.
Understood. Thank you for that clarification. So at this point, it's our decision whether we want to start the procedure for a hearing or wait until the policy has been updated. my recommendation again is let's wait till the policy's done, because I think not what you said notwithstanding, I think if we get into this and we're making changes to the policy or how we're gonna do this, or there's any uncertainty or it's not clear, then we are gonna get ourselves into trouble.
And it also wouldn't, I think it would be unfair to someone who came to us after the policy had been adopted. If if our thinking about this and our guidance on this changes, I think it should be a level playing field.
But yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think that we can proceed however we want to, and the rules change. And at the time of the adoption of the policy, that's when it would kick in. That being said, I also don't think it's a good idea for us to move forward in a situation where we're not clear as to what the expectation is going to be for class 4 roads, my opinion.
The only thing I'd just say out loud is that the policy that we're discussing is where it will lay out the procedure for the hearing and taking up the discontinuance. Is that correct or not?
That is already
That's
in
already
state
established.
That's
statute.
already still, yeah.
Process is in some statute.
Okay.
It's very litigious. Yeah.
I mean, I guess one thing we could do is hold a hearing and then just delay it until we're comfortable with how we're gonna handle it. I don't think that's fair to anybody.
Well,
And isn't there-
once you start a hearing, you're on a time frame of set times of when you have to make certain actions take place. So once you start that clock going, you're limited on anything that can happen as far as research goes, as far as a site walk goes, as far as visiting the area, as far as going through a lot of other documents that might also pertain to a situation like this. It is not clear cut in my mind, what's going on as far as any class 4 roads in this town are. These roads have been here in this town for hundreds of years, most of them. And they've been documented in different areas in the vaults, in the maps, and through history. And they've had different uses through history also, whether they were visiting neighbors, whether they were getting from one section of town to another, whether it was just for transportation or for if it was for pleasure or whatever. The roads are important to this town, and there's parts of our town plan that specifically reference class 4 roads and the importance that they have towards this town. So when we put in a paragraph in the policy that states about travel and trails and things like that, that might mirror what the state says in their issues too, they are also mirrored in the town plan and mentioned more than once about preserving it and how they're an asset to the town and all the other aspects relating to class 4 roads. Every single one is different. Some are dead ends, some go nowhere, some are part of a system in our town. Right now, you could cross the street from Spalding Garage on Whitmore Brook Road and hit a class 3 road and then another class 4 road and a class 3 road and make it through Wyman's Falls, through Bailey's Mills, through Lover's Lane, through Reservoir Road, Malone Road, Adams Road, all the way to Andover almost, without stepping off of town right of way. You start taking out little sections of these roads and you're going to lose that connectivity that we talk about a lot. We've talked about that in the village where we have trails and passes, and wouldn't it be great if we had a path from the high school to the Pinnacle, from the Pinnacle to a Brookside Trail? And all the time we always come up with, well, it'd be great, but we don't have that connection and stuff. We do have that connection in the rural parts of the town. We've lost a few. I've been involved in a discontinuance before. And I'm afraid of losing any of these other connections. And I still would love to have this hearing and this discussion, but I think it's way too soon for the same reason that you said, that the policy hasn't been written yet, if we're going to be using that as a guidance and a document to base our decisions on. Because right now I'm looking at my town plan, which was amended in 2020 and it expires in 2028. And quite often it mentions class 4 roads. and the importance that they play in this town. So that's why I thought the policy was kind of based a little bit on that too, not just from the air and from the town, from the state. It's an important issue in many ways. And I understand that you have some problems with the class 4 road, where it goes, Jeeps, trailers, all the problems that go along with a class 4 road sometimes. Those problems go along with class 3 roads. They go around with class 2 roads also. It doesn't really matter. It's like, the fact that it hasn't been a problem that much is probably a good thing, but it does happen. I think more work should be done if these roads were developed in one way or another or not. They could be just left the way they are and nothing happens for who knows. I hate to sit here and take away a section of road and then 50 years from now or 100 years from now, somebody looks up and they're trying to do something for this village and they can't because they're missing a class 4 road because we decided at that time to fix a few small problems that could have been fixed other ways and to give up that right. And I think it's a huge right to give away.
So I think that that's the discussion to have when we get the two policies together and start that whole discussion at that point. So any other thoughts or comments? Mr. McGinnis, you have your hand up.
Yes, I would just like to weigh in. For the record, I'm awaiting the town's written determination regarding its claimed authority over the disputed segment through my driveway.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, thoughts at this point?
I'll continue my comment. It is important, I think, that you partner with your farmers and the folks that own the land that those things live with. And I think you're seeing evidence of poor partnership. The process now would be if I wanted to force this roughly 300 signatures on a petition, correct?
Yes, yeah. And I don't know that the board has made a decision that it's not going to set it for hearing.
No, I'm just.
I don't, right. But if they decided not to set it for hearing, then yes, it would be a petition process and that would force it.
Or a lawsuit.
Hello?
Whichever way.
And I guess that's the question I have for you is whether this is a urgent matter in your opinion, or it's something that could wait for a bit and help us to take the time to do this right instead of saying, yeah, we want to get it done right now. So that's my question to you.
As you know, I've been working to understand this process and also understand the priorities of the town. I'm familiar with the plan. I disagree with the way the town has decided to go about things and the things that the town has historically set as its priorities. My goal, as I'm here, is to partner with local farmers, artisans, and business owners to help them thrive as much as possible within this town. Understanding that we need to provide it. So I'm interested in engaging, and I'm going to continue to do that. I'll do it with you, alongside you, or against you. I just thought I thought the letter was pretty clear. I'll be very disappointed if you decide to balk and wait. I will see it as stalling. I do think this is, I think time is of the essence here. And I think there's ways to move forward with a good town plan that promotes the things that make Vermont beautiful and Chester as a stopping destination and not a pass-through destination. I'm not happy with, perhaps I move a little faster or differently, but I'm not happy with what I see in the policy, nor am I happy with if you decide to not move forward.
So I see that kind of as a contradiction, because on the one hand, you don't like the policy as it's written now, which we don't either. And on the other hand, you want us to move forward with it. And so I'm seeing that contradiction. I'm not sure. Because, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Is a part of law. I'm asking for discontinuance. I'm saying clearly to the board, based on the things in my letter, why I think this is a layup discontinuance. You have members of the board who I respect who say, no, over my dead body, none of, not a quote, hopefully, but maybe.
So that's not a quote. That's pretty rude.
No, I'm, you
No,
know,
it was.
Hold on a
no,
second.
but the fact that
No, I'm
you,
not gonna hold on.
you're passionate about, well, you don't want any of these class.
I didn't
4
say that. I said each one's an individual situation, and we would look at each one as an individual situation, just like you are looking at this situation. That's what I'm looking at right now.
And so for my individual situation, for this particular concern, I am asking for discontinuance.
And our job right now is to determine if we want to start that process right now, or wait until we have all the pieces in place that will guide us to make the right decision and to make sure that we're doing this correctly, so that we're not missing anything, so we're not rushing into something that we don't understand what the consequences could be. So that's where we are at this point. I think we have the same goals. Sitting behind this table are 5 people who are trying to promote the well-being of the entire Chester community. And that includes farmers, that includes artisans, that includes visitors, people who live here. So we have a number of characteristics that we have to evaluate, and points of view, and everything that we have to determine in order to make a wise decision. So while I understand where you're coming from, I don't necessarily agree with the urgency, but that's the difference between what you're saying and what I'm saying. I think from my perspective, the board is going to vote on, or at least determine whether or not we're going to hold a hearing. And I'm sorry if it disappoints you, if it doesn't go your way. At some point, we will have a hearing to talk about this discontinuance, because you've requested it. So whether you get 300 voters and push it now, or you can wait for a little bit until we get some of the details in place, that's totally up to you. At this point, we're going to continue our discussing unless you have something else you need to add that's pertinent to our discussion. Okay, thank you.
I would like them. Because what's coming up in the middle of your field is mud season. And the town could close that section of road till it dries out. Does that help you as a farmer in that area?
Well, not really.
No.
Not really?
I'll tell you why, because the construction company that's working that pit put 256 yards of coarse stone in the bottom of that road, and then layered it over with smaller stone. And that road is probably a better road than the main road down there.
Right, but you're going from the pit the rest of the way through to potash?
It goes all the way to the pit, from the pit to the farm.
Yeah.
Not to the bottom.
Yeah, no,
Not to
the road that used to exist
Yeah.
after the pit is through
Not
the.
traveled.
Right.
That's just about,
Okay.
It's just about unusable because the rain has washed it so bad, there's no more road there really
Okay, no,
on that part of it.
yeah, no, there's a way to maybe help you get through things, but.
Well, I've been keeping it opened up, and so we can, because I used to have to get all my equipment through there to go to the farm up in Andover and work it.
Yeah.
So I did that for years, but
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Does the town plow Adams Road all the way out?
No, they go up to the driveway by the cow barn
Okay,
and they turn around. I
okay,
think mostly because it's convenient there to turn
Okay.
around.
okay, Okay.
And yeah, so they
Okay.
just go up to the house.
okay.
Ariana, you had a comment you wanted to make?
I just wanted to say one thing on the record, which was just, I had really been hoping that because it's so well written, you came to us on December 3rd, we have it on the record, I was really hoping we could step through this process, both as a town, as citizens, and that yours was going to be the example of this is how this is meant to be done. Other residents who have taken legal routes have made it so that we aren't able to participate. We have to hold back and wait because it's now a legal action.
Yeah, and
So
I don't want to do
I
that
was
either.
just really hoping that we could go through this process step by step as a town with our residents, with your request. The policy exceptions that you've taken to how it's written in the first paragraph, I am glad we will now have a chance to look at those again. It is only holidays and illnesses that have made it feel so slow. But we've known that we have to get the policy signed off by the attorney. Once we have that, then we can respectfully, appropriately, and exactly by the record, address your request. So it's not until tonight that we found out that we still couldn't. I really believed we were going to change that first paragraph and execute that policy tonight. We're not going to. So I'm just personally saying it would be wonderful for the town, for the residents, for the select board to understand this process, have it be transparent, have it be exactly how it's meant to be. In order to do that respectfully, we need the attorney to agree that we're doing it the right way. Otherwise, we're already starting off on our back foot. That's all. It's just your request. There's been no delayed attempts. There's no anything. We want to do it right. And that's.
Well, thank you. Ann Henshaw, you have a comment you'd like to make?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to take up much time. As you know, I've only been here 3 years, so I'm not technically I'm not, I'm a flatlander. I'm not a Vermonter yet, if ever. And I'm trying to understand this issue. And from the outside, having just arrived to town, it sounds like what's happening is actions that may reduce public access to what sounds like public spaces. Is there a place I can go to fully educate myself on this from kind of the begin, like to fully understand the history of this issue so I can be better informed on what's happening and hopefully capture the nuances of it instead of how it's just kind of sounding to me the past few meetings I've attended? Thank you.
I don't know if there's a place to go to find everything in. I'm happy to sit down and talk with you.
There's also articles, if you.
Yeah, there's
if you were to
articles,
Google,
there's
articles in Vermont Life magazine, there's articles over the years talking about the positives or the not positives of
Okay.
class 4 roads in small towns.
Oh, yeah, you're talking the broader picture. I
Yeah,
thought.
I just need to understand it because I have a feeling on it and I just want to make sure I'm understanding it full. I just want to make sure I'm understanding it.
And if you're looking for big picture, there's loads of anecdotal articles out there that describe what we're talking about. Or if you look up the word ancient roads or specifically ancient roads 2010 Vermont, and you'll get a really good education. So ancient
'Cause
roads 2010 Vermont.
Okay, awesome. And because before we moved here, our focus for our family was a lot of advocacy and accessible natural spaces. So I just want to make sure that I'm understanding it. So I appreciate the answers. And Julie, I will email you and see if there's a time that you can sit down with me and I can take it. I know you're busy, but that would be great. Thank you.
For a local perspective, there's also a map that shows all the class 4 roads that might be helpful for you to understand where they go. Because it's not all public lands that they access. As a matter of fact, there's very few public lands that they access. Most of it is on private property.
Yeah, that's where I'm confused. So that's where I'm having a hard time understanding is, were these existing as roads before people bought? I just need to understand.
I would just say they're not on property, private property. Private property abuts the
Yes,
town right
yeah,
away.
that's good clarification. Thank you.
Okay, see, that's why I need to know. Thank you.
Mr. Jamaki, you have a comment you'd like to make?
You're muted, Mr.
You're
Senator.
muted. We can't hear you.
I'm sorry. My question is, the request, does it have anything to do with denying access to Simsbury Cemetery?
No.
It's on the other side.
No, not in that location.
No.
No.
Thank you.
The people that are there won't care anyways too much.
Okay, so I guess we decide what we're gonna do. What's the pleasure of the board?
Well, you had already discussed recommending that Jim and Julie provide a draft of a combined policy.
That's my recommendation. I just want to find out how you guys all feel about
I
it.
support that recommendation.
Well, Lee, I'd like to tell you that, I do agree with my son-in-law as far as the road, but it isn't something that has to be done right away.
Okay.
You can, do what you have to do to figure it out.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that statement because I'm kind of feeling like I'm between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
Understanding your desire and our need to make sure we're doing it right. So I appreciate that, Doug. Thank you very much.
That being said, I will put pressure on the attorney that this process is not continually dragged out and we can get it moving much quicker.
Okay, thank you, Julie.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you. So we're good to do the combination of these two policies, and then we'll set up a formal hearing once that's done. Okay, thank you. I appreciate you guys speaking up and your patience. Next is a certificate of highway mileage. So you should have something in your packet relative to the all of the roads that we have. If I can find it, there it is.
Yeah, this is the document that you sign every year. The one thing that was taken off of this was the disclaimer that we've had on for the past 2 years about Bailey Hill Road being contested. At this point, number one, Jim's opinion is that it does remain a town road. But number two, we have heard from the Bidgood family who has said we are no longer contesting this. So for those reasons together, Jim felt we need to take that off. So it goes back to being just the standard certificate of highway
So that was basically a 2-year project of trying to determine whether this one class 4 road was still under the jurisdiction of the town or that it had been discontinued years ago.
Correct.
And the research that went into that and the research that went into the history of that road and the research of all the neighbors around there took a lot of work, took a lot of time also. It's not an easy thing to do, especially when we're talking about roads that have been in the town purview for some of them 250 years. So it's not something that we take lightly to discontinue or to change or do anything with. And we're trying to get it right.
So we're just signing
You
this?
just
or
sign,
we-
you guys sort of-
No,
This is where you cram all your signatures on 2 lines.
Oh, we can't sign over here?
State document, I don't want to tell you. Yes, you can, but it's like, there's not like.
It's nice that there's no disclaimer on it. That's good.
We will remove that.
No,
They're
damn,
no
well,
longer
did he
contesting.
bill us for that and he hasn't finished what he has to do yet?
So what is still to come to you is a formal letter indicating that legal opinion. But I have also asked him for something that can go into the land records to clarify for 50 years from now if something ever comes up. Yeah, so
17.67 miles of class 4 roads. Could take about a century to get through them with that.
I won't. Century from now.
All right.
So for the
Have it with my dad.
The next item on the agenda is approving the bond documents. You should have the list of the official ballot requests and the resolutions relative to those requests. So what do we have, 3 of them?
We have 3 you have 2 articles. So you've got the ballot, a resolution certificate and the declaration of intent for 2 different articles. So
Are we voting on these? or
you
just
need to
signing
make a motion. You guys actually don't sign these. You
Okay.
just move to approve them.
them? Okay. I'll
Um,
entertain a motion. We do them one at a time or?
you could do 3 documents for each. So you could do all 3 documents for that article.
Okay. So I will entertain a motion. Excuse me.
Move to approve the bond documents as provided.
So this is we're doing one at a time.
Paving,
For the
Wednesday.
paving at $300,000.
Right.
So,
The ballot, the resolution and the declaration of intent for for the paving project of $300,000.
So moved.
Yes, what she said.
Second.
Ariane and Tim, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next is the official ballot, the resolution
Deck of intent.
declaration of intent for $430,000 relative to existing sidewalk, the Depot Street sidewalk project.
This is the I know. So moved.
Ariana's made the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Tim is the second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then
That's it. That's it. It was just two, we had just 2 bond articles this year.
Okay, excellent. Next is the art gallery serving permit. And this is for Mediterranean?
Nope.
No,
This
I'm
is for
sorry.
Fisher Art.
Fisher Art.
She does
sorry.
one-time event.
Right.
And so these are 2 different events. One is on the 17th, one is, I'm sorry, one is on the 14th, one is on the 13th.
We just did a couple for them too.
Mhm.
Must be working for them.
Yes,
That's
it
good. Good to hear.
is. She does, she gets good. So you just need motions on these.
Okay,
We are
so
fine.
I'll entertain a motion for the 2,
Move to
Serving
approve
permits.
serving permits for Fisher Arts Gallery covering February 13th and separately February 14th.
excellent. Do I have a second?
Second.
Peter's a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next is the new business next agenda.
I have 2 things for you. Question number 1, I have been asked by a few citizens if the town would hold a candidates forum. We've done this in the past. We would probably need to do it like the last week of February. The last time we did this, we had pre-written questions that we gave to everybody ahead of time so they could, get their thoughts together. And we had Bill Dakin moderated, so we would obviously ask Frank Kelly to moderate. Didn't know the interest of the board to do that.
Very interested.
I
it's a
absolutely
great
think
idea.
you should do it.
I'll be glad to help with that.
Thank you, Evan.
So we don't need to
So-
vote, right? That's
No,
the-
you don't need to know. I'm just pulling the board. I've had a lot of people have asked me about it. Just want to know the direction the board'd like to go.
Will that include the school?
Would you like that to include all contested? Well, it doesn't even have to be contested. Would you like it to be all?
I would think the
I
school
would-
board.
Anybody
candidates as
running?
well.
Yeah.
Anybody running?
Just
Yeah.
for the record, we didn't have school board up there with us the last 3 years.
We did 2 years ago.
Did we?
Well, there were 2 separate Q&As.
No, that's great.
But it was in the same forum.
Okay.
I think it's the more information, the more opportunity people have to hear, the better.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Do we need to work on questions or are you gonna do that or?
So I can, right,
Those
you two
questions-
cannot be part of
Yeah, those questions
that.
should not be from us at all.
I will pull up the questions we asked the last time. They were really very general questions, what do you feel is happening in town that is of importance?
Questions from the public?
What is your priority? And then we did do,
Take some suggestions.
then we did do some.
What's your social security number and bank account number?
Don't forget your
And-
passwords.
Do we have a date for this?
No, I just
Not
got
yet.
permission to do
Oh,
it,
okay.
so
Just
nope.
wondering if there's already,
Nope.
one in place.
Probably the last week of February,
Okay.
just to give people some time.
All right, great.
I'll find a night that works with the calendar upstairs.
Thank you.
The next thing that's gonna be on your agenda, I just wanna get it in your brains, because it'll be on the next agenda, but it needs to be voted, the next agenda. Jason Rasmussen will be here. The select board, will need to, hopefully sign a resolution affirming the town's capacity to support development review and zoning administration of Tier 1B. So we did the neighborhood development area, we did the NDA, we got that approved. The next step is the approval of Tier 1B. Tier 1B is what gets that section out of Act 250 permitting.
Are we gonna get something to read before?
Yes, you will. What there are 2, it's not a lot to read. There's a resolution that basically says you are willing to move forward with Tier 1B, and then you're gonna get the proposed future land use maps that have those sections on it. That's what you're talking about. And Jason Rasmussen will be here, and so will Hugh Quinn, to guide through this But I just wanted, and as soon as I have that, I will send it to you guys. That, I just want you to be prepared that the next meeting, we will actually need to vote on it.
Planning board was meeting on that map. They supposedly looked at it.
Okay. They have. They've looked at it, it's
Oh,
drafted.
yeah, okay.
I was just gonna ask about the planning board. Will they be extended?
What about the planning board? I don't understand the question.
Will the planning board be involved in this discussion?
The planning commission has already had this discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, they've already had this. Yeah. The future land use map revisions come from the planning commission to the regional commission.
Okay.
So I'll get that out to you guys as soon as I get them.
Anything else under new business next agenda? I had one thing. So you talked a little earlier about the public funds and the trustees.
Yes.
And so there's the Cypress Minerals discussion that we're gonna
Yes.
have. Is that gonna be on our next agenda?
It will not be on your February agenda, no.
Okay. The other question I have, and this probably shouldn't be on the February agenda either, is we've had some discussions in the past about suggesting that people who are coming before the town to ask for funds from the voters
Mhm.
go through the trustees of public funds.
Mhm.
Is that something we can talk about at that point or sometime in the next couple of months?
So the trustees have set up, and maybe it would be wise to have the trustee of public funds come to a select board meeting. One of the things that they have established is a bylaw and a policy around how they distribute funds. They're gonna have, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Peter, they're gonna have 2 grant rounds each year. Those requesting funds need to be a 501c3 because the feeling there is that the 501s are already set up to process things like, what is your income level? What is your, those types of questions that would be asked. And the town is exempt from that. Our requests are different because we're not a 501c3. So I was thrilled to see the fact that they actually had a policy around it now. And it's not subjective. There's a policy, there's structure, there's guidance to it, which I think is great.
Is that something we get a copy of?
And it's
He was
not-
making some revisions and when I get it, I will send it.
Sweet.
Well, I think that what would be a good idea is when they finalize it, that
Have them
would be
come.
the trigger to have them come to the meeting.
Yeah, have them come to the
Okay,
meeting.
perfect. Yep.
Yeah.
Good point.
You can do that.
There were 2 things on your memo that you didn't mention, or
Oh.
maybe I didn't hear them. Bailey Hill Road and public.
Oh, for the next agenda?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the February 18th meeting, Bailey Hill Road, I am hoping to have a draft of the public records request policy. They are getting out of control and they are costing us money. And so we need to adopt a policy. If you have a policy, there are some things that we can restrict and limit. So we want to get that policy to you guys as soon as we can. So I'm hoping to have that next policy. Next meeting. Your March 4th meeting, of course, will be whatever the reconfiguration of the new board is. So reorganization, again, I'm thinking you probably will have a public records review again. And I am hoping, very aggressive here, I am hoping to have a draft of the use of town property policy. Because that's going to take several meetings of discussion. And then, I will push Jim that by March 4th, we have a draft of the class 4 roads or the town roads policy.
Excuse me.
And the road policy is on the website. You can just.
Yep, but I can also email it out. I'll email it out to everybody so you can be looking at it.
Just because I'm thinking about this right now, sometime in the future, I've heard some complaints about our town website and wondering, I know there's a cost, there'll be a significant cost there, but is that something that we could discuss? Maybe revamping or recreating our town website?
Well,
What are the complaints?
well, I think one of the things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, we could talk. I would like to know what the complaints are specifically, because maybe there's something we can do immediately that would
Right.
resolve.
Right, but you also have this Commerce Commission, and that would be something that I think they should really look at.
Yep. There's some very intelligent individuals on that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Probably way more tech savvy than I am.
Definitely more
Or
than.
more everything than I am, so.
All right, anything else under new business next agenda? Then I will entertain a motion to enter executive session to discuss the negotiation of purchase and sale agreement for purchase of solar field pursuant to 1 VSA subsection 313(1)F.
Yes.
Inviting the town meeting.
So moved.
So before we do that, I was asked if
Let you guys out this way?
Thank you.
I was asked if I would be willing to give a little bit of an update onto, why so many executive sessions, why this is,
Okay.
why this is taking so long, et cetera. I have to be very careful about what I say and how I say this, Sean.
Yep.
So,
That's why I'm recording.
I know you are. I see you. I see you. When we started the discussions regarding the purchase and sale agreement, we learned several months in that the asset had been sold. So we are negotiating with a new entity, which has taken some time, to get all the right players to the table for discussion. We are also learning more about the asset. That is taking a little bit longer. Some of that information and documentation is restricted and it's not public. So that's a little bit of what's taking a bit of time.
I will call you, just the idea of it being sold without you knowing about it in the middle of this thing seems a little weird.
We didn't
That
have,
might explain why we had so many executive sessions, Sean. Just so you know.
but we didn't have a signed purchase and sale agreement. So it was legal.
Yeah.
It wasn't kind, but it was legal. So.
But the new owner is to some extent bound by the fact that you guys have.
They were not, but
option.
we have
Okay, all right.
since
done.
negotiated
Okay.
that. Yeah.
All right.
That's okay to answer. It's okay to answer.
We'll let the town manager take the heat.
I'm already on the heat for a couple things.
At the end of it all,
And you got a review coming up right after this.
That's okay.
at the end of it all, it will make a great story once it's all behind us.
Correct.
Yeah.
There will come a time.
It's a three-year story.
There will come a time when we will spill our guts.
Okay, excellent. All right. I look forward
Then
to it.
I hope that it gets put out there.
Yes, as do I.
I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, so,
Second,
so who made the motion?
I did.
Okay, so who made the motion and Ariana seconded it? Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you. We are now in executive session.
I'd just like to say, don't stay up too late. You'll get punchy.